I'm Barbara Peters from the Poison Pen, Scottsdale's Mystery Bookstore, bringing you another event in our ever-crowded criminal calendar. We have with us today Linda Barnes from Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome, Linda.
Nice to be here, Barbara.
This is your second time to come and visit us, is it not?
I believe so, but I'm in the middle of a book tour, and you could ask me a lot of questions, and I would not be able to answer them correctly. Probably.
I think it is. I do remember. And it's such a treasure to have you here because not only are you one of my personal favorite writers, but you are, in addition, a wonderful speaker because, as I recall, you have a thespian background. Am I right?
Yes. I was trained as an actress by the very same institution that gave us both Faye Dunaway and Gina Davis, but they did not affect me in that way.
So you took pen in hand, did you, and decided
I
out a different?
I certainly did, yes. After a while, they so thoroughly intimidated me that I left acting, I went into directing, and then I wound up teaching high school because I couldn't go to New York and starve to death. But I guess all along, writing was at the back of my mind.
So what got you out of teaching and into writing, or was it a gradual transition?
It was not gradual at all. My high school, in a suburb of Greater Lowell, Massachusetts, determined that they were going to build another high school, a bigger, a better high school, but they were going to replace the theater with a larger gymnasium. And I thought, well, where am I going to teach? Do you want me to quit? And they said, oh no, we love what you're doing. We don't want you to quit at all. And I said, where am I going to work? And they invited me to use the junior high school auditorium along with 17 other performing groups in the area, and I said, no, thank you. And then I did something really clever.
What was that?
I wrote a letter, a 6-page letter to the local newspaper, telling the town exactly why their children were going to grow up to be cultural illiterates. And they published every word.
And you didn't work again in Massachusetts, right?
I could not get a teaching job to save my life. And I thought, well, with this background, what can I do? And when I was 17 years old, I won the National Council of Teachers of English Writing Award. And I had written plays for my high school students, and I had really enjoyed the experience. And I thought, well, I can't really write plays without moving to New York, but I can write murder mysteries in my room by myself, and no one will bother me. And I can kill people who have really bothered me in my teaching career. And so I set out to do that.
And what did you write? Was your first sleuth, in fact, not drawing upon your actor background? Actress, pardon me.
Actor is now used for both, which always throws me now. Except at the Academy Awards, where they say Best Actress. But now actresses want to be called actors, which I don't know.
Actually an actor?
Mm-hmm. Actually an actor.
Okay,
yes.
It's probably a PC thing. Well, in any case.
Know.
So, but yours was a guy, so actor was right.
Actor is right. My very first sleuth was an actor detective because the mantra is, write what you know, and I knew acting, or I thought I did. I was young enough to think that I knew something. And so Michael Sprague was born. And he was supposed to be a foot in the door book. He was supposed to be a one-time appearance, after which I would go to a series.
With a female character?
With a female character.
Aha. Now, why did you think that a male character was a better way to start?
Well, I went to school at a time when the literary voice was male. And the books that I read had male private eyes were what I was reading. And I didn't know of any American woman who was writing at the time, although I now know that Marcia Muller indeed was, but I did not know of her then. Mm-hmm. She remained obscure for quite a while.
That's true.
And I didn't happen upon those books for quite a while. I made Michael a feminist, and I refer to him as my Middle Atlantic author because he was neither really American nor really British. He had a very strong aunt who was really threatened to take over the books. And he was I had to sort of remember that he had to shave every morning. You know, I had to.
Right. One of those
really,
gender problems.
I was having a gender problem with him. But to a large extent, he was my fantasy life as a man. He could get acting roles that I could never get. And he worked for me for a time.
And so you had started him out as a one-book event and then discovered to your surprise that he was going to be, in fact, a series character? Is that what happened?
Yes. When I came bright and chipper to tell my then editor and my then agent that I wanted to do a female detective, they said, "No, you don't. Forget it. No one will buy those books." And I was not writing for posthumous glory.
No.
So
vulgar money.
Vulgar money. I thought, well, I guess I could manage another situation in which an actor bumps into a dead body, but I don't think after this anyone will hire him to act. And that was a problem to sustain him through the 4 books that eventually were written. I killed off all the people who were near and dear to him. And he just became more and more depressed through those books. I leave him in New Orleans in a book called Cities of the Dead, and I really feel that his only option is suicide. It's very sad what happens to these characters.
Well, you do have a credibility problem with an amateur sleuth, certainly, and particularly one that doesn't have apparently any professional policing ally, is how in the world do you entangle him with a dead body, and furthermore, how does he get to investigate the crime without the police arresting him?
I found it an insurmountable burden, and I understand that there are a lot of people who don't, but I just couldn't deal with it. And during that time, Carlotta was knocking on my door. I really, really wanted to write her, and I wrote a short story with her in 1983. And I gave that to my then agent, and my then agent sent it out and sold it. She sold it 3 different times to 3 different magazines that immediately folded, which was very bad because I never got paid for it.
Oh,
you get paid on publication with magazines. And when I changed agents over something entirely different, I sent this story along. This is the story that kills magazines. And my current agent really liked it, and she sent it out, and it was published in New Black Mask, which lasted for big 5 issues.
Was it that brief? I didn't know that.
Yeah, then they changed their name to A Matter of Crime because they evidently had no legal right to use Black Mask. And I think they lasted another 3 issues as A Matter of Crime. So I did succeed in killing them too, but they had already published the story and it was too late.
And in fact, your story was so successful with the reading public that you then went on to win the Anthony Award with it.
Yes.
And that must
it
have
was
been
nominated for every other major mystery award. And all of a sudden, people said, gee, I think possibly you could write a book with a female detective in it, and it would possibly sell. And I felt so stupid for having listened to them for so long.
Well, you might have been. Marcia, as you say, labored in the vineyard for quite a while without the recognition that she deserved for her wonderful Sharon McCone series. And it's certainly possible that had you overruled them, that you would also have just collected rejection letters instead of getting 4 Michael Sprague books out. So who can tell? It's a hindsight.
You can't tell. You know, 50-50, 100, good hindsight, but I don't know what would have happened. I do know that I learned a lot from writing Michael Sprague, and what more can you ask?